neither of us are financial advisors. I feel like I have to
Don't.
claim that. We are not telling you
Primal
what to do.
instinct.
That's everything. Anything XRP or
I use my
is
crystals and I ask them what's to
right.
buy. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're not professionals. Don't take our
Mm-mm.
advice. Okay, cool. Well, this is super exciting.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've seen you, and you are thriving and living life to the fullest.
Yeah, I
So
am.
give a quick introductory. Let the all my millions of followers know who you
Woo.
are.
All right. Well, okay. Who I am. That's quite, that's a loaded
You can keep it
question.
generic. You can
Well,
keep
because,
it, you know.
okay, like I have a really common name. My name is Sarah Humphreys,
Mhm.
legally. But I hate it because that's one of the most common names ever. So I've always been like, I'm a creator online and I
Uh-huh.
have a creator name online that I do. Like, I do music and I do
That's right. I
content
forgot
creation
about
for
that.
travel. Yeah. I'm working on my second EP right now. So I'm
Very
like,
fun.
do I go by that? Like who do I show up as? Like I'm not Madonna or Lady Gaga or anybody that needs to go. Like I'm not a big deal. I'm just a person,
You're a
but
big
I'm an
deal. You're out there
artist.
doing the
I'm a
things.
big deal to
So
my children, and
yeah,
that's what matters.
yeah.
But so yeah, I guess I'm a woman of Ohio.
What's your creative
It's
name?
so my music artist name is Betty Good. It's like one word, all lower caps,
Okay.
and it's yeah. That's just how hard it is to name yourself when you're trying to do something new or like think of. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you on your third podcast,
Yep.
it's like, what do I call you that
Yep.
hasn't been named already? So I was doing my first EP and it was getting time to where I needed to release it. And
Mm.
I was going through all these different ideas. And every time I would check, I was like, I love this name. And every time I would check, that it would be like, sorry, it's already taken.
Yeah.
And I went through quite a
A
few of
lot.
those before I was like, I'm not even gonna release it. It's over. My dream
Hmm.
is done.
Yeah.
But then I had this Betty Good was kind of a alter ego I made up back in MySpace days. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know MySpace
So
for sure.
yeah, that I had that, and that was something that I used as like a, yeah, like a my pen name or
Like
pseudonym.
stage name
Yeah,
almost. Like
exactly. And I checked if it was taken, and it wasn't. So I was like, Is that the universe saying go back to what you created forever?"
uh-huh.
I don't know. It was available
Uh-huh.
and I liked it enough and I had already like connected with it.
Yeah.
So
So you still
that's
feel like it worked out
yeah.
well with like your like personality and characteristics and
Yeah.
all those things.
But you know how it goes. Years later, I'm already wanting to rename, rebrand,
Hmm.
do
Yeah.
everything. I did the same thing with my photography business.
Okay.
I had to think of a name and I chose Elated
Elated.
Light. And I was like, after having it, it's so dumb. No, I'm just
I
kidding. I liked it.
I went through 5 business names with because I started out in photography thinking I was like the best photographer in the world. You know, you get like
You
that.
are.
You get that hype and you get that excitedness and stuff and but once I started making the switch to video, it's like I need a new name. So like I went through like Samuel Kilgore photography, SK photography, like all of these things. Then eventually it was like Pages of Samuel. And I was like, oh, I really like that.
That's
So
the one.
yeah, that's been it ever
I
since.
like that too.
It's
And
unique, and
yeah.
that's the other piece. Like, yeah, it has to be something unique to where it's like, oh, that's catchy. I like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it connects with you. It's a part of who you are
Mm-hmm.
as the artist and the person underneath. I love your work too, your video. I didn't know you started as a photographer, so
Yeah.
that's funny because you're such a good videographer that I was
Yeah.
like, it's funny
I
how you
appreciate
find the,
that.
because I could never do video.
Well, that's how I think about photography now. Like, I'll offer like some photography services in my other business, but like, I know I'm designed and meant for video. Like, I just love video. Like I feel like I can do much more with video than I ever could with photography. But then you being a professional photographer, you're like, you can do so much more with photography that I wouldn't even have a grid for. Like flash photography, OCF, nope, not my forte.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it, but I prefer natural light and
Mm,
doing stuff like that,
okay.
obviously. But Yeah, you have to know how to do it all, especially with weddings, because you're in
Yeah.
and out and all around, and lighting's changing here and there in every room. So
Yeah. So you know how it goes.
yeah,
You understand
and
it.
like you're taking photos. Are you always like, this would be a lot better if it moved?
Yes, 1,000%. That is a constant thought. Like I'll shoot for a fitness brand once a month, and I'll send them 10 photos a month, but it's like I really wish I could do more video because they'll get one 10-second video of
Oh,
like a product, that I'm shooting for them, and then they'll get 10 photos with it with a male or female model. And I'm just always wishing, like, I really wish they would invest in more video content because
yeah.
it's just like that's what I love doing. But it works out at the end,
I mean, video is everywhere right now. It's so powerful,
It
especially
is.
with social media and everything. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Budget.
budgets. Budget. Yep. You know how it goes. It's all
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
But
fun.
but it's like you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
You just have to convince them why it's good for them. It's
Hmm.
better for them in the long run. But
Yep.
it's hard to do that when
Yeah.
they're staring at their bottom line every day.
Yep. Oh,
Like me with crypto right now as it's going
are
down.
you in crypto?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
a female
fun.
in crypto.
Okay. What cryptos are you holding?
So my favorite is XRP.
Yep. Yeah, I got that. We could talk days for
Yeah,
XRP.
yeah. I mean, I have a little Bitcoin, don't we all?
Yeah.
Have a like
Well,
a
actually,
thousandth.
Bitcoin's the only one I just won't touch.
Oh,
Like, because I used a crypto calculator. So like even putting in, I don't know, it was like 1,200 or 1,500 now. And if it were to reach to like 750,000 or that $1 million mark, you're only gonna pocket. It's not a lot.
hey, a profit's a profit, baby. I'm
Yeah,
in it for
but I'd rather
any.
hold more XRP than
Exactly.
Bitcoin because who knows where XRP is gonna go.
It could go anywhere at this point. Right now, it's going down, but I see that as an opportunity to buy.
To buy. Yep. Yeah. I have my friend Chris and he's really big into crypto. And so we follow, I follow them on YouTube, but I'll tell you the two guys that he connected me with that one of them's Coach JV. And then there's another guy that we follow. And the one guy's like, he's legit.
Yeah,
He's legit.
like what he says goes.
What he says goes.
Oh,
And
I need that.
he built like a program that you can connect to your, do you use Coinbase?
Yeah.
Okay. So he built a program that connects to your Coinbase, and when you use the pro mode on Coinbase, it'll automatically build some kind of chart overlaying what the graph is actually doing. So then
Mm.
you know when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, and it's kind of like this cheat code. It's very, and
Ooh,
it's, I think it's $300 to get it.
pennies on
It's
the
it's
investment.
very fascinating. It helps you read the chart easier
Yeah,
because you see all these ups and downs and lines, and it's like I don't know when to buy, I don't know when to hold.
yeah.
But he basically created, I think it's like a 3-level color coded shadow platform that you can see where these graphs are aligning. He's like, see, when the graph gets here, it's in this chart of the box, so that's when you want to buy. If it gets here, that's when you want to sell. If it gets here, you want to hold it just a little bit longer. It's very fascinating.
I'm in straight hold mode.
Yeah,
That's
oh
all,
yeah,
that's all I do.
yeah,
So I don't like, well, especially right now
yeah.
because everything, it's kind of the potential of what could happen.
It's all cattywonked right now.
Exactly.
It's all
But
cattywonked.
and I'm still learning a lot. Like I can't read the charts. I'm running off of primal instinct. Like
It's a lot.
tell me what to do.
It can be very overwhelming. So like even when I first got into it, and him and myself both, we're still fairly new, but there's so many terms to learn, like the bull run,
Mhm.
bullish or bearish. Like
Yeah.
I had no idea what that
Are
meant,
you
and
bearish?
bearish, yeah, right. So just learning the terminology, because like I'll get in conversations with other people. Like my friend Jesse has a significant amount in crypto, and I had. I'll have like calls with him sometimes. I'll just be like, hey, I need to talk crypto with you. I need like a refresher on everything you know so that I can make the right call, whether to hold or buy just a little bit more,
Yeah.
So
Need a
it's
beat.
like whether it be $5 or 500, it's like what is the best thing to do with this right now? So, but yeah, I'm definitely in holding mode.
Yeah.
How long have
It's
you
fine.
been in crypto?
So I started a couple years ago,
Okay.
but I'm pretty frugal.
Mm,
Just so, but with investments, it's kind of you have to get over that spending money just to let it sit type of
mm,
thing. And but I also have like an Edward Jones account, so I'm not a stranger to putting money into a
okay.
mutual fund or a CD or anything. It's
Okay.
like and just letting it sit and grow and all that's and
Yeah.
so I'm good with that. So crypto actually spending money on something that you didn't know where it was going to go
Mm.
was a little. I was just buying like $25 here, 50 here, which
Yeah.
it's not the it's not the best, but I feel like it's better than most because I'm up in my returns
Yeah.
from when I did. And then and I took a break for like a year and a half of
Mm.
not buying anything. And I was like, I don't know. I don't trust this thing.
Right? Yeah.
And I didn't know enough about it. So I didn't want to be wasteful and I don't have a lot of expendable cash. I have kids and
Mm.
everything. I have to be a little bit smart, but I
Yeah.
also want to be smart in investing because if you don't, then you won't have any
And
return
you
time.
miss out.
Yeah,
You miss out.
exactly. I think and watching Bitcoin grow, I think that was the example
Yeah.
because it got to 35,000. I was like, "There's
There's
no
no
way,
way it's gonna
no
get
way."
up
And then it was
anymore.
65, and I was like, "That's it. It's capped." And then it hit 100,000 this year, and I was like, "Okay, maybe maybe I don't know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, or maybe I should just step in front of fear and take a risk here and there." So I started investing a little bit more heavily. I think it was last year, October,
Okay.
and I've been steadily making
Those were some good
purchases.
times to
Yeah.
invest in around that
Hmm.
time. Because one thing I like about Coinbase is you can see it does like a 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, one
Yes.
year tab. So like I always click even if I'm looking at something new, I'll click the 1 year tab just to see where it was at the
Hmm.
end of 2024. And they're all down like dollars amounts.
Yeah.
Most of them, like XRP was down in October of last year.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, HBAR, all down. And Protocol was another one of them. And Solana, there's a lot.
And there were a lot of people saying like, wait till the turn of the year, like
Hmm.
things are
All
gonna
the
change. And I
rich
was
and
like,
wealthy people were saying
hey,
that,
they know how to make money.
yeah. But yeah, it was interesting because after 2025 hit, like everything shot up for
Hmm.
that month. And then it kind of slowed down a little bit. But
Yeah, a lot of the predictions of the people that I've been hearing, it hasn't panned out yet, but that doesn't mean that it won't. And
mm,
I've already put the money in,
yeah,
so I already knew that it was going to sit there for a while. So
yeah.
I'm not scared. I'm hopeful.
So that's one thing I made the mistake on. I didn't do my due diligence because I always used Robinhood
Yeah.
and like it was just the first thing that I downloaded. I was like, all right, I'll just use Robinhood. Well, it was like probably 4 months ago. I had a call with my friend and I was asking him like, what's better, Robinhood or this Coinbase platform? And don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure this is what he said. When you purchase through Robinhood, you are buying the cash value exchange rate. When you
Hmm.
purchase through Coinbase, you're purchasing the actual token rate of.
Okay.
So it was like one, you're actually getting and claiming the tokens are yours, which is through Coinbase.
Yeah.
Robinhood is just the cash.
Yeah.
So like that you're trading, thinking you're buying, you know, XRP or
Interesting.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that's when I was like, do I need to get rid of everything in my Robinhood and switch over to
Liquidate it.
Coinbase? So yeah, I took a hit on that. I ended up doing it, and I'm glad I did because I think neither of us are financial advisors. I feel like I have to
Don't
claim that. We are not telling you
primal
what to do.
instinct.
That's everything. Anything XRP or
I use my
is
crystals and I ask them what to
right.
buy. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're not professionals. Don't take our
Mm-mm.
advice. But Coinbase, I feel like a lot of these people who are in crypto, that's the main platform they use.
Yeah.
Like they don't use Robinhood, they use Coinbase. And it kind of makes sense with the guy that I follow and like even him creating this program that you can purchase, add to the graphs, helps you cheat a
Yeah.
little bit just to better read and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah.
Interpret.
Interpret.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, good word.
Yeah, I think Robinhood's better for like stocks.
Yeah.
And I know even less about stocks
Yeah.
at this point, and it's just anytime because I have a Robinhood account as well.
Okay.
But anytime I've invested in a stock or anything, it just doesn't pan out for me, and
Mm.
I'm just like, all right, that's not my game. I'm I'm a crypto girl
Crypto
now.
girl. That's funny. Yeah, and I think it's interesting too because I always think of like in terms of history. So like when the stock market started becoming and it opened up, it was like that was that time for that generation. It was
Hmm.
the stock market. Our generation is gonna be
It's
crypto.
a different time
It's a
now.
different time,
And it's
and
heading in that way
it
as well.
is.
Like, you can't resist it, even
Yeah,
if you try.
there's a lot of people pushing for it, and I think the last article I read about XRP was there was one more. I don't know if you would not class action lawsuit, but there was one more pending lawsuit that the SEC wasn't finished in reviewing, but it was like the last attempt of them going after XRP and what they feel like they were doing. So like as soon as the director of the SEC drops this ridiculous lawsuit against XRP, that's going to be another
Fair
game
game,
changer.
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to
Just
be
get over
huge.
it. Drop it already.
Thank you. Let's go. Come
Yeah.
on, government.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fun. Well, changing gears a little bit, and if we circle back to crypto, I'm
Okay.
completely fine with it. What got you into photography?
Well, it's the same old story you hear. You read somebody's bio. I was a little girl the first time that I ever saw a camera. But literally, I was, as soon as I knew what a camera was, I was interested in it. For one, I was interested in getting my photo taken.
Okay.
As a kid, when my parents had it, they had this really old one. I don't even know the model of it, but the film like did that circle thing. Do you know that
Oh
old
yeah, yeah,
type of
yeah.
film?
Yeah.
That was because we were poor, and so that's what they could afford.
Okay.
And when I was in first grade, I asked my mom if I could take the camera to school for the last week of school so I could take pictures of my
Oh
friends so
yeah.
I could look at them over the summer. We didn't have the internet back then.
Yeah.
Not like we do now. There was no social media. And so if you didn't see your friends over the summer, which you didn't really
That's
see
true.
them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take pictures of them and she said yes. So she let me take a roll in the camera and I took pictures of my friends, and then from then on I was trying to take pictures of anything and everything that I
Ah,
could.
okay.
So fast forward, I and like growing up, everybody was telling me you should be a photographer, but
Mhm.
I didn't want work to take away from what I loved.
Mhm.
And I felt I was young and didn't even know. I just heard adults being saying things about how the love got taken out of what they loved to do
Right.
because work and the stress of work and trying to build something would take away from it. And I was like, I don't want that to happen. I'm just going to do it for a hobby. I'm just going to do it for the love of it. And then when when I was pregnant with my son, he's my second born, I wanted to take photos. I wanted newborn photos, but I wanted to take them myself. So I was
Okay.
like, I'm just going to get a camera. And once I did that, I decided I was going to start a business because why wouldn't I make money off of what I
Something you enjoy doing.
yeah, if I was
Yeah.
going to be doing it anyway and people were asking me to take their photos, it just seemed easy and something that I could do while also taking care of my kids.
Mhm.
So this year marks 10 years
Ah,
that since I opened
congratulations.
my
That's
business,
fun.
and it's been a wild ride. There've been a lot of ups and downs. I moved across the country a couple times and that put a big hit on
Mhm.
my accelerating and
Like territory and location and
yeah,
stuff.
having
Like,
to restart because
yeah.
I in 2018 I moved back to I'm from Portland, Oregon
That's
area,
right. Okay. Yeah.
and I moved back there for a year. So I thought I was going to be out there for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
So I decided to rebrand and remarket, and then a year later, like literally to the day, I moved back to Ohio.
Okay.
Then had to do the same thing over,
Readjust
and
and
it just I don't think I ever really fully recovered from that.
mhm.
And I also think every photographer has a style. My editing style is a little bit different than most people's, I
Mhm.
feel like. And I
Which is
not in
it's a
like a
good
it's
thing.
for me it's a good thing
Yeah.
because I love it. I don't think it's what a lot of people are looking for.
Okay.
And going back to taking the love out of something, when you're not, it's very niche if
Mm,
somebody's looking for the type of work that you do.
right.
it's I have like a smaller market, I feel like.
Okay.
Do you know what
Well,
I mean?
yeah, what would you qualify like what that niche is? Because I've seen your work and it's amazing.
Oh,
Like it's
thank you.
very high
I
end,
mean,
very
I love it.
professional.
Yeah.
Like it looks phenomenal.
I think it's just like the color tones. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. I maybe I'm making that up. Nobody has actually said that to me. I just looking at my work versus what I see is really popular. I don't fit that.
Do you think it's like a territorial thing, like a Midwest versus East
No,
Coast?
I don't think I fit anywhere.
No.
It's like just for me and the few clients that see it and connect with it,
Mm,
which I don't mind either
yeah.
because the clients that I get are really special.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, "Oh, my clients are the best." But they really are. I connect with them. I feel like they're my friends. I think there's something special in that. Like my work calls to the
Mm,
people that it's meant to call to. So, I don't know. Yeah, but not being like super popular and being booked out full every single year, it does. You do think about that. You do,
mm.
I mean, do you?
Oh
You
yeah.
might not have that because you're probably booked out full
No,
forever and always.
every year is completely different. So I feel like this year couples are taking longer to book. I think just
Mm,
because there's a lot more variety.
yeah.
Like
Every year, more artists are born,
yeah.
and they
And
come.
it's great. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with
Right.
it, but it's just one of those things. I think this year, I mean, I think I'm, which has never happened. I think I'm up to 23 emails now, 23 potential couples in limbo that
Nice.
just, well, not that
Oh,
they haven't reached back
in
out
limbo,
in limbo.
the bad
Yes.
kind
So,
of
like,
limbo.
they sent an inquiry, shoot them an email, scheduled a consult, went great, did a follow up email, nothing. So
Oh, breaks my heart every time.
it's like, all right, all right, there's nothing more I can do, and so yeah, it's just an interesting year. But then I also have couples who will inquiry, schedule a consultation within 3 days, goes great, send us the info, we'll book, and it's like great,
Yeah, that's the
so it's
best.
that's the industry
Ideal.
though, like
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
you just never know.
And yeah, I feel like the industry does change
Mm,
year after year. So,
yeah.
do you not follow up after your follow up? How many follow ups do you do before you're like,
Max
peace
I'll
be with
do
you?
2.
Okay.
I think 2 is my max. I think 3 makes me feel like I'm being pushy. But I'm also coming from a place of, listen, I'm on a first come, first serve basis.
Yeah.
So like I want to give you all the opportunity I can to not like push you, but also let you know, like, hey, if I get an email and someone books and you took, like, I've had couples miss out just on a day
Yeah.
where a couple booked me for their date, but they waited that additional day and they shot an email back and they're like, hey, we're ready. It's like, I'm sorry,
It's gone.
it's gone. Can't have that date for
Think
me.
about what you
Like,
did.
try to say, create a chat GPT prompt, like be as nice as you can and as apologetic as you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the wedding industry. And then you
Hmm.
had like, um what would they call those, day of content creators,
Hmm.
where they go out, cover a wedding with their phone and do like all the behind the scenes stuff, which
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I think that was something new that people created for the wedding, just to provide another service
Yeah.
to include in the industry, and I think that's phenomenal. um
But yeah, everything alters how things flow.
yeah,
So
yeah, 100%. And I think it's one of those things too where I think, do you pronounce it niche or niche?
I say niche.
Niche? Okay. I'll say niche just for the sake of the conversation. But I feel like you get to a point where you're really proud of your niche and you want to stick to that and you don't want to cross over outside of your creative zone. So you're
Yeah.
fine with getting less bookings
Yeah.
because you're not changing who you are. You know how you film, how you shoot, how you interact with the couples. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is who I am,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm okay with it. I think at this point it's been enough years where I'm still doing it, but now I'm looking at alternative paths
Mm-hmm.
to go. Like I will always be a photographer. I'm always going to be taking photos. It's
Right.
just part of me
Mm-hmm.
because I love it. But I'm I'm thinking maybe this is the opportunity or the sign that we're opening these doors or keeping this space open because there's something else.
Yeah.
And I've been filling those gaps with
Yeah.
other things. Like you asked me, you're like, do you have podcast
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
my own podcast.
Oh, what's your podcast? Wait, you
with
just launched it,
yeah,
didn't you?
with my sister we launched this year. We're
Okay.
on, I think episode 10 will launch tomorrow.
Okay.
On Wednesdays we podcast. So
Okay.
I didn't want to plug it or
No,
anything
you
because
can plug
it's
it.
not what we're here. We're here for you.
No,
And
plug
bears
away.
don't fly.
Bears don't
Or
fly.
do they?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's called Get In Loser.
Okay.
We're doing a podcast and it's just my sister and I just talking about whatever we want to talk about.
That's so fun.
You
So
know?
we'll make sure we get all your plugins at
Yeah.
the end of the show. List off as many things as you want for people to find and contact.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, we don't
So
really have.
is it like in person? Is it online? What's like
It's
the
online
theme and
'cause
style?
She lives in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
So everything's digitally recorded, which means the audio isn't superb, but we don't care about perfection.
Yeah.
We're
It's just something to do.
we're doing it for the it keeps us talking every week.
Okay.
We're discovering new things and we're kind of it's still in discovery mode too. Like
Okay.
let's see what hits, what we like, what we don't like.
Okay.
We're trying new things all
Yeah.
the time.
Yep.
Like question and answers, reaction posts. We're reading
Yep.
Reddit subreddits because
Okay.
I'm really into Reddit these
Okay.
days.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're just trying new things
Yeah.
and having fun with it. I don't think anybody besides our significant others listen to it, but that's okay.
I'll subscribe. Subscribe to Get In Loser.
Do it.
Is it on what is it? Just YouTube, Spotify?
Just YouTube and
Just
Spotify.
YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do video too with
Oh,
those
nice.
just to keep it. I think I'm better on video because I tend to do a lot of things, a lot of impressions and things. with my hands.
Expressional. Yeah.
I forget when on an audio platform you have to explain that
Yeah.
I am winking my right eye.
Yeah. I realized that the last podcast so we'll circle back to this, but you know Kelly Norris.
Yes.
I just had her on.
Well, okay. Before I wanted to come in blind, but then I was like, well, maybe I should to today. I didn't know much about it, and I was like, well, maybe that's disrespectful, and I should at least listen to one episode
To do something,
that way, I support you
Yeah.
and everything. Obviously, I'm going to listen to this episode, but but I did go to your feed, and I saw she was the last one that you did,
Okay.
and I was like, he knows everybody.
I know a
This
lot of
guy,
I'm starting to realize how many people I know.
You're connected, like
But it's
deep.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. So she's my sister-in-law's mother.
Sister-in-law's mother.
So my husband's brother married her daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys are like your family.
And
right?
and
Okay.
I was the photographer at their wedding.
Okay.
But I knew Kelly before I knew her daughter from church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It-
That's
like,
right. Yeah, I
and
think
we all
Kelly told me
done-
that. Because she had mentioned before, because when she found out I was in the wedding industry, she's like, oh, do you know Sarah? I think she's like, it's a Elated Light. And I was like, I do know her. Like, I've worked with her a few times.
Yeah.
It's like small world,
Yeah.
Well, that's so fun. That was a
I know,
rabbit trail. I was
but that's what we do.
leading to it, but then whatever. So in like elated light photography, right?
Exactly. That's
Okay.
why I need to rename it.
It works. It sounds pretty. So in doing photography, you don't just do weddings, right?
Right. That's what I do predominantly. But I do mini sessions where I do families.
Okay.
I do milestone photos of kids. Before I started doing weddings, I was trying everything, obviously. Like, let's see what I like, where I want to focus. And I really loved doing live births.
That's bringing up a memory I had in my younger years. I thought that would be good idea to market another category. I didn't get any bookings, and I'm okay with it.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I can see why.
I was
maybe you
young
didn't.
in the whole photography world.
You
Like,
were going for
this
it.
is not a man's job. This is a woman's job, and I'm completely okay with saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I had 2 home births myself.
Okay.
And so I saw the beauty and the opportunity of telling those stories.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't pursue that was because it's unpredictable.
Hmm.
More like not unpredictable the birth itself, but when it's going to happen.
Right.
And I need a schedule. Like
Yeah.
I need to know when I'm going to be there, when I'm going to be done.
Hmm.
And I can't be on call for 2 weeks at a time
Yeah.
waiting for your 3:30 a.m. text like it's happening like
Yeah.
like
Oh
waking up
yeah.
like a pirate with the one eye.
Yeah.
It's not
Well, that's
it just
that's what I
didn't
did. So
fit.
I originally had the thought. I thought they were called. So I did a market for Fresh 48.
Yeah.
Is that it? So
Mhm.
that was the piece that I marketed, because now that I'm remembering, and this was, gosh, probably 11, 12 years ago, but I was like, oh, when like the baby comes home, and like I don't want to capture the birth because that would be too intense. And like I said, I feel like that's a woman's job and not
It was I did a
a
couple of them
man's.
before I decided not to
The
anymore.
birth?
Births, yeah,
Okay.
and they were amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Some
sure.
of my favorite photos of all time just because and like
It's
it's so
raw
special. It's
and it's
life
emotion.
and it's a place where I'm not really supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be there otherwise. And I
Yeah.
get to see these very intimate moments and that bonds you to people.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, for
you
sure.
know, it's we're friends now. We're
Yeah.
family at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. So when you did those, did you do them in hospital? Did you do any home births?
one
Like,
was a home birth, one was a hospital birth.
did you have a preference at the
Yes,
time?
a home birth.
Home birth.
There's so much more flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital, you have to stay out of the way. They're people
Oh yeah.
and they I don't think they want photographers there really, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't in my experience in that one experience I
Yeah.
had, the nurses were very nice, the doctors were very nice. They didn't make me feel any sort of way.
Okay.
But she also opted into having an epidural, which means she was just like sitting. So with a home birth, there's no pain medication. There's no they don't intervene at all. The natural process. So
And that's
women
when they
are
would get a doula,
yeah,
right?
a
Is
midwife, a
mid doula?
doula.
Okay.
Yeah, the midwife is the one that like helps. That's like the doctor, the
Oh,
birthing, the
okay.
child helping guide that, and a doula is like your birthing partner, assistant.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
help keep you on your birth plan.
Okay.
But both important roles. But yeah, so on a natural birth, the women are moving around a lot. There's a lot of different angles and lighting and
Yeah.
as an artist it's like I love
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
you can get a lot more coverage and tell a story
Yeah.
more in depth
Yeah.
so that's just why
As
it was my
opposed to a hospital room that's
yeah
covered in blue linens
yeah
and stainless steel trays
and like the machines
and the machines
still
and
cool still very cool
yeah.
like I would do that if I could predict when a birth
When
was
yeah.
happening, then I would have gone that direction. But then after those, I did my first wedding.
Hmm.
And the instant I did my first wedding, I knew that's the industry, or the part of the industry I wanted to be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like? And obviously share whatever you feel comfortable in sharing, but like in covering a home birth, what was that like? Like, is there such a connection you have with the mom giving birth that like you get emotionally attached just through the experience, because you've had kids
Is this
before,
our
so
baby?
yeah, right.
My son.
Right, yeah.
um,
We just birthed together,
yeah, no, it really is emotional. I think even especially after having your own kids, it changes like it changes it changed me.
Hmm.
I'm a lot more emotional now than I ever used to be. I used to be solid as a rock and now
Hmm.
I'm crying left and right.
Yeah.
So, I think and then also being and being around it's kind of like when somebody's laughing and you can't help but laugh. And then when somebody's like crying of joy,
Okay.
it's just like it's so beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, it pulls you in.
Okay. Yeah. I can definitely see that.
You'll never know though.
I'll never know. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, unless when I have a wife and
Well, that's
get her
different. I
knocked
met
up,
I
then
met you as a you'll never know
photographer,
as an
video. Yeah.
artist. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That it's gone. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm good with that. Um. So how many kids do you have?
Two.
Two. Okay.
Hmm.
Did you have both home births with
Yeah.
those?
Yeah. Water births. They were amazing.
Is that when you're sitting in a pool?
yeah, you have a birthing tub.
Okay.
And well, with my daughter, she's the firstborn, so she was paving the way. It was a little more intense, and I was just moving around a whole bunch. With my son, I did self hypnosis, which sounds a little woo woo, but it was legit. So self hypnosis is called Hypno Babies. You train for weeks.
Uh-huh.
It's every day while you're pregnant, you're training and you're doing your tapping and stuff. And I labored him by myself overnight with my headphones on, peacefully breathing with my best friend laying next to me, not even knowing that when I woke up, I was basically like a centimeter away from having him. And it was like, when I say dilation,
Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm familiar with the language, okay?
um,
I'm not a walnut.
but
Like
to labor, I've never heard that before. That's hilarious. I'm not a walnut. Yeah, no. So
do you want water by the way?
no, I
Do you
think
want...
I'm okay for now.
Okay. If you do, let me know.
I will.
I typically ask that in the beginning
I mean,
and
we
I forgot.
hydrated out here.
Okay.
I drank before I came.
Okay, cool.
Had
Anyway,
to get ready.
continue on with
Yeah,
the story.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not a walnut. I'm not a
You're not
walnut.
a walnut.
You know,
No, you aren't. Crack you open.
talking about the hypnosis
Oh
and
yeah,
the birthing and
I did. So I did self hypnosis, and his birth was. I knew I was going in labor. I was at a friend's house having dinner,
mm,
and it started, and I was like, okay, it's time, and I'm gonna drive home. So I drove myself. I drove myself home. It's not birth is not like how they show in the movies or shows. It's always my water broke, and she's still having some sort of conversation. By the time your water breaks, like you are not talking.
okay.
At least I wasn't not
Okay.
talking calmly. And anyway,
She says, not talking calmly. Well, yeah, 'cause you're about to have a human baby come out of you.
yeah,
Like,
but they have like these serious conversations, like you told me that you
yeah,
loved me, type of
the
thing. It's
drama.
like she's not having any sort of contraction, but her water just broke somehow.
Okay.
I'm always like, boo, turn it off, because they always portray birth as like a weird thing, and. My birth with my son was very peaceful because of the self hypnosis. I drive
Okay.
myself home. I got myself ready, and I told everybody. My best friend was there staying with me because she was going to be a part of the
Okay.
birth shoot, and then my husband at the time was also there, um, but he slept in a different room because I was like, "Get out of here!"
Okay.
um, because he snores, and I needed peace.
Yeah.
But so I put my headphones on for like your birthing the birth. They had like an audio for when you're in labor to like
Okay.
get you into that trance.
Okay.
And so yeah, I slept in and out, kind of building up my laboring, and the breathing got a little bit more intense, but my best friend was able to sleep next to me all night. And that's how peaceful it was. And I woke up and I called my midwife and I was like, I think I'm getting close. I'm not really sure. And she listened to me through what I called a pressure wave instead of a contraction. We called them pressure waves. They're moving in and moving out.
Okay.
And that helps mentally, because we think contractions are all like tight.
Tight.
And
Yep.
yeah. So I'm like, you just got to let this wave pass, type of thing.
Okay.
And as she listened to me, I was like, I don't know, I can call you when it gets a little bit more intense. And then I waited like 15 minutes and called her back, and she was already on her way, because she was like, yeah, you, your pressure wave was like over a minute long.
Okay.
I didn't even realize, because I was in such a trance because
Yeah.
of the hypno babies,
Okay.
that I was having that long of a contraction at the time. So by the time she got there, it was like an hour, and then I had him. So I did it all by myself,
That's
basically.
wild. That is such a fascinating
It was
story.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
So how did you learn about the whole self hypnosis? Like what is that?
I I don't know. I don't remember
Because I
how.
feel like a lot of it would have to do with breathing and just the mental capacity, like changing the
Hmm.
language a little bit, like contraction versus waves.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of that, and that would take a couple weeks to kind of like prepare yourself for.
Yeah. I did it for months to get ready
Okay.
for it, because
Do you remember how you heard about it or?
I so there was this Dr. Seidman. he made some vitamins, and he did self hypnosis through a knee surgery. And I was like, "You're so wild." But I knew that I always wanted a home birth,
Okay.
and everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna hurt." And I think through my research, because when something like that, when you get pregnant for the first time, you're doing research,
Yeah.
and you come across tons of information. A lot you don't like, a lot you do like, and
Mhm.
you just kind of have to weed through and find what works for you. And I
Yeah.
think it was in that wide mask of researching what I wanted for my birth that I
Okay.
saw somebody talking, probably some random blog, and I was like, "Oh, hypno babies." So I
Mhm.
looked it up and ordered it, and yeah, I'm a believer
That's what you ended
because
up
it worked for
doing.
me.
Now, so when you had your son,
Mhm.
you had him in your bed or in a pool?
I had him in a pool.
In a pool.
Yeah.
And your
My
daughter.
yeah, I also had the pool with her, but I ended up having to stand up
Okay.
with her because she was the firstborn. Like I
Okay.
said, paving the way, and she was trying to come out with like the diva that she is, like with her hands on each side of her face, and they couldn't fit. Like so, she kind of got stuck, and they were trying to figure out where do I go, and this are you like your eyes like should we change the
No,
service?
we're
Oh,
good.
anyway,
This is
it
just
was yeah,
fascinating.
it was just crazy because they had to figure out which way her hands went so that
Okay.
they could go like this so that she would finally come out. So we needed gravity. We used science for my birth.
Okay.
So I had to end up standing up out of the water, but I was still in
Oh man, that
the
just makes me hurt.
yeah. You know, it's not. It doesn't feel good,
Right.
but
I just
once
think
it's
I just
over,
well,
it's
I know, but
over.
I think of like because like again, like watching Hollywood movies and
They're screaming
seeing the
and
amount of pain, but not just like what is actually happening, but their entire body is
mhm,
experiencing that.
yeah.
So it just, yeah, that's crazy.
That's what I was built for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
To trust the process and surrender to it.
That's
That's
so
what I
cool.
did.
Two
Yeah.
kids, hypno,
Hypno.
just hypno,
Hypno
hypno
babies.
babies.
Yeah,
Okay,
self hypnosis.
self hypnosis, hypno babies. That's wild. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to process that for a day or two.
You
I
you
never
didn't
heard
think
of
it
it,
was going
but
in this direction when we
no, and
we
that
got
you know whatever. It's all good. Next, we're gonna be saying the word shit. You know.
it might come from me. I asked him before the podcast, I was like, can I swear? Sometimes I swear for comedic effect and also whenever I want.
Yeah, and then I
Anyway.
had to proceed to say, I'm not religious, so
I you know
fair game.
we haven't sat and had a big long in-depth conversation like this one-on-one ever. Like
Ever,
we
yeah.
met in 2020
Mm.
in the masking days, and
Hmm.
then we
How many?
we,
Do you remember how many weddings we did work?
we did at least 3.
Okay, that's what I thought it was 2 or 3. So
2 for sure,
yeah,
because Aaron, Samantha, and I feel like there was one more though. Those 2 for sure. I'm still plugging you to this day.
it's all a blur.
I know. And it's been a
Actually, I
lot.
think we're working a wedding this year.
Which one?
I'll have to look it up. If I remember, I'll look it up before
Okay.
you depart.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
I hope it's somebody that I recommended you to because I
I'm
am
pretty sure it is.
always telling people. I'm like, he's fresh, he's artistic. Like you have such a good perspective on things
Yeah.
and just the way that I don't know, you just connect with the couple and then you make a video that's really them.
Yeah,
So I try and
I
I'm trying
appreciate that.
I'm trying to sell you all the
I
time.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Um, so how many years have you been married now?
2
2? Okay.
officially as of April 1st.
Officially 2.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Derek.
Derek. How did y'all meet? Because I feel like that happened very fast.
Well,
At least from
it
social
did.
media
It did.
perspective.
It
It
did.
happened fast. Because
It,
one time you were single, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, Sarah got married.
yeah. Are we ever really single? Oh, wait. For me, I guess.
Well, no.
Yeah, right? Like you're single-ish.
Yeah.
I know. And I think I'm like an open book, which is weird, but I'm a private person
Yeah.
as well. It doesn't make any sense. I can't explain it. I'm a walking question mark. But yes, it did happen fast. But we knew each other for like 5 years before we started dating,
Okay.
but we weren't really friends. And we met at the same church I met Kelly Norris at.
Oh, okay.
That he was the sound guy. I was on the worship team.
Okay.
So we knew of each other, but at that time I was with my previous marriage.
Okay.
And so we didn't talk because he
Right.
was married previously too. And then he got a divorce and I was still married. And then when I was in my divorce,
Mhm.
he and I talked about it was cool manifestation. I don't know if you believe in it,
Yes.
but I was telling the universe, I wish that I just had a friend who had a home studio that didn't want to charge me to record music.
Okay.
And I said that, and not a week later, he slid into my DMs after I posted a singing
Oh
video.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
He's one of those
And but
guys.
he was like, I just set up my home studio. I need somebody to practice on because I want to be a music producer
Okay.
because he does live audio engineering. And then
Okay.
he wanted to be he wants to mix and master music.
Okay.
And how did I just say it? And now you're messaging me. I basically created this whole thing.
Okay.
And
That's so cool.
so we started off as friends, me just going to his house, his home studio, just like this,
Yeah.
and doing music. And then
That's cool.
I kind of you get in personal conversations, and I'm
Yeah.
talking to him about my divorce, and he had gone through it before, so we trauma bonded, and
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Okay. All right. That's fun.
Yeah,
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, because I remember when your first EP dropped.
yeah, it was
So it was all around that time. Would
20.
it been around
Was
that
it
time?
22?
Or like your first album?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yes.
I was dating him the year prior.
Okay. Okay. That
But
makes
and then
sense.
yeah, because he was with me that whole time that I was making the EP.
Okay.
But he didn't do anything with that EP. I worked with another producer at that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Wow.
But he's doing
Such a
this
wild story.
this EP, the second one, he and I are doing together.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. How long is that taking?
Forever.
Yeah. They always do. They
Forever.
always do.
I've been writing. I All the songs are written, and it's just a matter of all the music's done. It's more of me getting over hating my vocals.
Mm. Yeah,
But
I
I
have that
just
same
want to write
problem too in
music.
my music.
You do?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little ditty sometime.
Mhm. I'm more of an Eminem rapper, you know.
Hey, that's, maybe
It
you could
it
get some
works.
16
Maybe
bars on
some
a song of
DMX.
mine.
I'll
Yeah.
mix in some DMX style in there. Yep, you know it. That's oh man, I miss DMX.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace, brother.
I know.
Rest in peace. Well, that's exciting though. That
Yeah.
second album. How many songs?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really I went into it. I started writing songs for it, and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like as I was writing the songs, they all felt like singles. And with EPs, they're basically like baby albums.
Okay.
But usually all of the songs in an EP go together. They like tell a story. So
Okay.
in an album, a standard album, you can do whatever. You can have a sad song, a happy song, a dance song.
Mhm.
You can mix and
On an
match it.
album.
Yeah, on a full album, you can do
Okay.
whatever you want. It's not, but an EP is more like a concept piece.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I feel like
Neither did
I
I.
feel like that would make it harder.
Yeah, in a sense.
In a sense.
Yeah. So my first EP was kind of my story of coming back to me after uh, an abusive relationship. My
Okay.
divorce was pretty gnarly how it all wrapped up, and that was my coming back to me
Okay.
concept piece. And this one is totally different. It's once I decided on what I wanted to write about, they just poured out of me. And
Mhm.
it's like divine timing or
Divine intervention.
yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like. And
Okay.
to the point where when I would sit down to write one of the songs, I would just write that whole song in that sitting within an hour. Easy,
Okay.
easy. And the last and then I was like, okay, well, let's sit down and write the second song.
Mhm.
Same thing. And so when I got to the fifth song, I was nervous writing each of them because I'm like, they're not going to be good enough. They're,
Yeah.
that doubt, that imposter syndrome
Yep.
thing, and just wanting it to be great. And I wrote that fifth song, and as soon I'm like writing the last bit of it and the last line. As soon as I completed it, I stopped and I broke down in tears
Mm.
because I was like, it was just, I don't know, it just felt magical. Everything was so purposeful, everything came all together, and I'm really excited about it, and I want to share it so bad,
Yeah.
but it has to also be right,
Mhm.
and I don't know,
And not rushing it,
not rushing it.
because songs are like songs are songs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, my friend Connor, who's a young lad, he just moved to, I think, Tennessee to pursue music.
Nice.
He does a lot of mixing and producing, and I mean, he's put out some songs and EPs before, but every now and then he'll call and we'll just catch up a bit. And that's one of the things he always says. He's like, bro, he's like, every time, he's like, I think I have a song polished, whether I do it or I polish someone else's song. He's like, then I'll wait a few weeks. He's like, I'll go back and listen to it, and it feels like I got to freaking start all over again.
Yeah.
I
What
was
is
like,
this shit?
yeah, right, yeah, exactly. But that's the, I think that's the professional in people.
Yeah.
I think people can keep that professionalism. They'll get to where they need to get going
Yeah.
as long as they are just good at what they do
Yeah.
and they remain passionate in it and want to provide and produce the best. So that's super
Yeah.
exciting. Are you changing genre? Same genre?
I don't. Yeah.
What
But,
what genre would it be?
you know, that's a good. I'm like a indie pop.
Okay. I like indie pop songs. I
Yeah.
actually use a lot of those for weddings because they feel like indie pop provides a lot of bass, but also some acoustics,
Hmm.
and then it can also provide some like little techie sound a little bit if you
Here
get
and
in the
there. Here and
right,
there.
not just like a sprinkle of it,
I have a couple bops.
Okay,
I have, but one song for the first time ever, I have a piano ballad.
what's a ballad?
Where you're just, you're just singing your love song.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
It,
all right.
and it's my favorite one.
Do you play any instruments?
I play the ukulele. I'm not a pro.
Ukulele.
The
The little
ukulele.
ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
ukulele.
And then I can chord on keys,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say I'm a piano player by any means. Like,
Okay.
I-
So how do you mix in sound with your songs?
well, it's all digital and you can do it on keys.
Oh,
If
okay.
if I'm producing the music, that's how I do it on my computer
Okay.
using a MIDI or a
Okay.
keyboard or whatever.
Okay.
When I first started doing music, I didn't have any of that,
Mhm.
but you can, your typing keyboard,
Mhm.
you can make that the piano. And when I started discovering how to produce music, I was playing the keys using like
Oh my
X,
gosh.
SU, like,
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's wild. I mean, that would be fun though.
Yeah, it's just when you just love to do it and you're
Yeah.
doing it. There's also, I mean, obviously limitations to it.
Yeah.
You can't like jump scales or anything,
Mhm.
but naturally, like but you would have to like click and then go up to the octave and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. You can make music literally on your phone now. There's
Yeah.
just so many avenues that you can use to create. It's just
Which I
taking the
think is
time to do it.
which I think is really exciting too though.
Yeah.
Cuz I remember gosh, probably back in like, let me think about this for a minute. 8, 9, 10, 11, like maybe 2012, 2013, I think. I started getting into GarageBand.
Yeah, baby.
So like
I love
so like
GarageBand.
that was a huge thing. It's like I can create my own songs, and they probably sounded like complete garbage, but I that creative outlet, like I feel like that's such a popular thing
Hmm.
in today's culture generation, but now it's becoming like unlimited
Hmm.
options and
Yeah.
availability, which can make me feel overwhelmed because it's like what is the best one? Like
You don't
what
even
is
need
the
the best
best
though.
one?
Just choose.
Well,
Just
that's
choose one
true. Yeah, that's true.
and
And
go
learn
for
about
it.
it, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's so cool.
I
That's
love
exciting.
GarageBand because it's free and it's very user friendly. I'm
Mhm.
always encouraging new artists or people who've always done music, people who play instruments and have never recorded themselves
Mhm.
have talked about recording.
Like
I'm
they can
always
use
like, use
GarageBand
GarageBand.
and
It's free. You have it on your computer right
yeah.
now and just go for it. Just play around with it because
Yeah.
it's simplified. You
Mhm.
don't have to be an amazing music producer, but you can make professional sounding music right on that app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. You had mentioned was did you say travel vlog?
Uh, where like I have, yeah, I'm a content creator. I do travel content creation.
Okay.
It's mostly on Instagram.
Okay.
It's going to get to vlogging. It's just, everything takes time
Yeah.
and time.
Ain't that the
Yeah.
truth? Ain't that the
I'm
truth?
trying to do all these
If we
things
could
at once.
manifest like 48-hour days to feel like 24-hour days, that would be amazing.
Yeah. If we didn't need to sleep so dang much, gosh, I love sleep, but I also like doing things. So I
So
don't.
talk to me, what's this travel?
It's the Wander Babes, and it's my sister and me again.
The launder?
Wander,
Oh,
like
wander.
we're wandering.
I was
It's
gonna say launder, but like what are you laundering
don't
right
you
now?
worry. I already took all your money.
Okay.
um, it's the dot wander dot babes
Okay.
on Instagram right now. We're building it. We're testing things out,
Uh
and we're just using that as another excuse to do something together.
mhm.
And I love to travel. I do a lot of it.
Okay.
So and I love to just take content. So another thing that I love to do naturally, why wouldn't I just do it and
Mhm.
try and build a following and see where it
And see
takes
where it
me?
takes
Who
you.
knows?
Yep, who knows? That's one of my biggest one-liners when people ask me. I was actually talking with I've been in talks with the guy and his wife over the past couple of weeks cuz they live out in the country and kind of do like the whole homestead life, live
I love
in, and
homesteading.
he's wanting to start a podcast, and he's like, "Hey, he's like, I'm wanting to start a podcast." And I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, do you know anybody who could help me with that? And I was like, actually, I do. I was like, I could help you. And they're great,
Me.
great family. And he's like, well, let's get some coffee. He's like, let's get coffee or lunch or something. He's like, because I got some questions and we'll just, get together, hang out and talk. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we met the first time, went great. And, I was at his house or their house 2 weeks ago, I think. So he's initially wanting to convert like half of his basement into a studio.
Nice.
And I was
I
like,
like it.
yeah, I was like, I'm all for it,
Let's
bro. Like,
go.
here's my fee. Here's how much your fee is for equipment,
Hmm.
gear. Like, if you're going to do it right the first time so
Yeah.
that you don't have to
You'll be
change it
set
out.
up.
Yep.
You do whatever you
And
want.
him and his wife are talking. I had dinner with them, and he's like, you should see the barn. I was like, the barn? He's like, let me show you the barn. And I was like, okay. So we go
That's where you go
outside,
to die.
right? So the inside is still exoskeleton, if you will. So just beams, nothing's framed, besides like the four walls. But there's a loft in this
Mm.
barn with 12-foot ceilings, and it's about 25 feet wide. And he goes, originally, he's like, that's where I want my man cave to be. He's like, we built it this way for that to be a man cave. And I said, listen, if you're going to start a
Mm.
podcast, that's where you start a
That's
podcast.
right.
I was like, I'll tell your wife, I'll be like, the Lord told me. So we go back into this kitchen, and we're just shooting the bucket, whatever. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, I felt the Lord tell me that you're meant to finish that man cave up there so your husband can have, his own studio. And she's like, oh, dear Lord.
Yes,
She's
dear
like,
Lord, it
she's
was.
like, we're not going to drop 50 grand to finish this thing. And I said, but it was the Lord,
Yeah.
and
It
obviously,
has been so prophesied.
right. And obviously we're joking, but what's funny is, so 2 weeks later, I saw him again, and he's like, guess what? No, he's like, I was like, what? He goes, my wife and I were talking. He's like, we're kind of considering and finishing the man cave. And I was like, shut up. I was like, my fee just went freaking higher. Like, you're dropping that kind of cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
My fee goes up, buddy. But no, but all that to say, I don't know where I was going with that, but being creative is fun. Being creative is a lifestyle. With content creation and traveling and
Yeah.
things of that nature. Where all have you traveled to?
Um, well, I really like to cruise
Okay.
because
That's one thing I've always
mhm,
wanted to do, just have never done it.
maximize your where you go instead of
Mhm.
going one place and having to organize everything. You have the place you're staying, you
Mhm.
have your food there, and then you're seeing a lot more
You're getting
places.
off the ship
There's
and
limitations and
yeah.
everything, but so I went to Greece last
Oh
year, and
wow.
we went to Greece and Turkey. That was our honeymoon
Okay.
cruise. So I'm afraid of water. I'm afraid of the ocean, but we
But
can't.
you go on cruises where you're literally in the middle of the ocean to where if the ship sinks, you're most
Yes,
likely going to
just
die.
just stay inside and don't think about it. But that's how, like, we compromised because he really likes cruising and
Okay.
he really wanted to do it. And I was like, absolutely not,
Okay.
never in my life. And he said, well, he knew I wanted to go to Greece really bad. That was
Mm,
my one location. And
okay.
he said, what if we did a Greece honeymoon, and it's just around the Mediterranean.
Mhm.
You can't die in the Mediterranean. That's my theory.
Okay. Okay.
It's like,
You hold on to that
well, I
theory, you
didn't.
know.
So
This is true.
that started everything. It
Okay.
was so from there I was like, all right, I changed my mind. I'm okay being on these cruise ships.
Okay.
And we went, did the Bahamas one with the family after that. This October we just went to like Italy, France, Spain,
Wow.
and then we ended up in Greece again. We were going to do a totally different one, but it got canceled, so we ended up doing this one.
Okay.
With by chance, we just went to Greece again.
Which
That
I'm
was,
sure it's still so gorgeous.
yeah.
You just
I was like,
never
I've been here
you would
twice.
not get tired of it.
Yeah, like
And not a lot of people can say that.
I never thought that I was going to see it again. At least, definitely not so soon. So
Okay.
I was counting my blessings. Like, wow,
That's
I'm
so cool.
so glad I've seen it twice. And then this year in August, we're gonna go Ireland, Scotland, England, Belgium,
Wow.
Amsterdam. Yeah, we're doing that. I travel a lot around the states too. The United States is beautiful.
I think
I've seen
there's a
so
lot
many
of
of them.
gorgeous places in the
Yeah,
US.
and there's still so many places I haven't seen.
Yeah.
So I've been to Mexico. I've been to Canada.
Canada, eh?
Yeah.
Eh? Do you guys do you take your kids with you at all or
On the ones that are family friendly, yes,
mm,
but we really like the Virgin Voyages.
and
That's
what is
adult only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
really let loose
it's,
like
yeah, come as
yeah.
you are. Like a lot of the ones like Royal and Carnival, I've done one on each of those. They're really buttoned up. You
Okay.
have to dress nice to go to dinner. They're very formal. You have to have a dinner time, and you have to
Hmm.
be there at the same time. It's
I
different.
wouldn't like that.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I'd I'd be like, if I'm hungry, I just want to go eat.
Like I'm not always hungry
If
at
I
six
want
thirty.
my mojito, I want my mojito,
And
you know?
there's a lot more flexibility on Virgin Voyages because you can make dinner reservations and plan around that,
Mm,
but they have so much availability and flexibility, and they want to make things happen. They're very accommodating
okay.
that you don't have to make a reservation. You can walk up and still get in.
Okay.
And their food is so good, comparatively to from the other ones.
Mhm.
Like the food on Royal versus Virgin is hands down, no
Night and day
question. Yeah,
difference. Okay. That's exciting. Yeah, is it kind of like a surreal thing when you step on a cruise ship
yeah,
to see just how massive this
it's so big.
floating piece of metal is in the ocean to
Y-
protect you?
Yeah, and you go to sleep in one country and wake up in another.
I've experienced that on a plane before,
Oh yeah,
but
I
not
guess planes do that too.
yeah, not a cruise ship. I'm sure a cruise ship is a little bit more comfortable.
It is surreal. Like when you're on it and you're looking around, it's like wow, this is massive. And then you go in and there's an ice skating rink. And then you go in and there's a whole huge theater for musicals, and you're just like sitting. Am I in the middle of the? Is there a hole in the middle of the ship that we're sitting in? And sometimes on the Caribbean cruise we did
Hmm.
with the family, we were chasing a storm, or a storm was chasing us. I can't remember. The waters were a little bit wobbly to where I was like,
Choppy.
yeah, I'm not
We
used
call
to
we
this.
call that
Oh,
chop.
so yeah,
That's
I
called chop.
I guess I should know that.
We can handle chop.
Yeah.
We can handle chop,
But,
right?
but the actors are on the stage kind of swaying back and forth, trying to act like nothing's happening. And I'm like, if they're not freaking out, I'm not going to freak out. Like
They're being paid not to freak
they know
out.
what they're doing. But inside, I was kind of freaking out just a little bit.
Okay.
I'd never felt so much chop before.
Yeah.
But I survived that too.
Well, there you go.
And I booked another cruise.
There you go. You got to do what you got to do to
Yeah.
live and thrive.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, those are a lot of places you're going to.
Yeah.
Have you been to a specific favorite yet?
I mean, Italy was pretty special. We got to hike
Did you see the Colosseum?
No, we
Was
didn't
that in
go. We didn't
Greece?
go to Rome.
Or Rome? That's what
Yeah,
I'm
we
thinking
were.
of.
We
Okay.
kind of when you're. So that's why I say there's limitations, because when you dock and you don't go too far into land,
Okay.
right? You're on the sea area.
Okay.
But you do excursions, and we did one excursion where we went to Mount Etna and hiked that.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be like live, like it was rumbling the day before, which
Mm,
I also hate. I'm not like live on the edge type of
yeah.
lady. I don't need I'm not an adrenaline junkie. So I get my kicks other ways.
Well, I don't know. You're going on cruise ships when you don't like the water. You're
Yeah.
traveling the
Well,
world.
that's
You
facing
know,
fears.
there's some adrenaline related to that a little bit. I would think.
Oh, well, thank you.
You know.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm so brave and edgy.
Facing fears can be a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, but I don't want to jump out of a
you
plane
know.
or bungee jump or do any of those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like my
don't think I
husband
wanna do
wants to
those either.
skydive, and I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that.
I gave you the cruises. Be happy.
You got me in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's it.
Deal is done. Like, what have you done for me lately? He's
Oh,
like,
that's so
everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
That's so
he's
fun.
the best.
So, what does he do for work?
He's a TE at Honda, which is a principal engineer, an electrical engineer.
Thank
But
you. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
principal is like the level they have. There's engineer one, engineer two, something, some principal, something,
Okay.
something. He explained it to me. I can't memorize all of the terms.
Okay.
But that's where he is for people who know that stuff, and he's been with them for over 10 years.
Oh,
He'll be coming up
okay.
on 15 now. So yeah, he's just making
Is,
cars.
is that the place where he wants to retire from, or does he have any goals, dreams with like music production? And
Yes. I mean, if something else took off,
Mhm.
crypto, XRP, baby.
Let's go crypto.
If something else takes
Manifestation, crypto, XRP.
Yes.
Let's go. 500% increase by the end of
Oh my
today.
goodness, we're millionaires. That would
be
that would be
insane.
the retirement plan.
Oh, 1000%. I tell people, I said if crypto ever hits when I have enough money in for it to hit really big, I said I'm not going to be one of those guys that will keep my money in. I'm
I
pulling
don't need
out
to be crypto rich.
I'm pulling out my
I wanna be
100
rich,
million
rich.
and I'll invest in other areas. Like I
Yeah.
just need that 100 mil cash.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm in it for too. I have my minimum. Like once it hits that, I'm not gonna be greedy.
neither of us are financial advisors. I feel like I have to
Don't-
claim that. We are not telling you
Primal
what to do.
instinct.
That's everything, anything XRP or
I use my crystals and I ask them.
right.
Advice. Don't
Yeah. Yeah, like we're not professionals, don't take our
Mm-mm.
advice.
I played the slots in Vegas last week. I know how this works. So yeah, we just got back from Vegas.
Oh, okay.
We were there for our 2-year anniversary trip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was
So-
it that just the quick weekend trip or
Yeah,
week trip?
Like
Okay.
4 days. You don't really want to
Spend a week in Vegas.
many days.
That's true.
I feel like 4 days is a sweet spot.
I've heard a lot of different. I've heard good ends on Vegas. I've heard grimy ends on Vegas. So, in your opinion, well, I think you just gave it. You don't want to stay there for longer than.
I really
3,
like
4
it there.
days.
I really do like it there.
I've
It's so cool, but it's very expensive.
And I've heard it's very dirty.
yeah,
Is it?
don't touch anything.
Is it dirty?
Yeah, it's a big city with a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they all are.
Just, I just don't like dirty.
I know, I know. I'm always like washing my hands,
Yeah.
not obsessively, but incessantly.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is dirty, but it's fun, and I think you kind of get over that fact because if have you whoever you've never been there?
I've never been to Vegas.
It's like an adult playground, and they go to extreme measures
I'm sure.
to make it
An
just
adult playground,
fantastical. Yes.
gambling,
Yeah.
slots,
Yeah.
blackjack.
Mm. I like Monopoly Express.
What is that?
It's a slot
Is
machine,
it? Oh, okay.
but
All right.
it's just fun.
I have so
Came up on it a little.
once a year I try to get boys poker night together, and we had one last year and we had a great time, and then I just scheduled it this year for the end of April. So we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll get like our little taste Flava Flav of gambling and just having fun, and but yeah,
Stack the deck.
stack the deck. Yeah.
I don't know why
Bring
I'm
your
winning. This is
cash.
so weird.
Yeah, but it's good. Uh, in your in your marriage with Derek for 2 years, what what has that been like for you?
It's the best
Yeah,
relationship I've ever had with anybody ever.
yeah,
And I'm not just saying that. He's so emotionally intelligent.
uh-huh,
He makes me want to be better.
yeah.
And I was like, going in with my ego and everything, thinking, I'm going to be the good one. It's like,
Hmm.
well, shit, I still have a lot to learn. He's so patient. And he also came into my life at a time where I was going through it.
Hmm.
And I even tried to not date him because
Hmm.
I was like, I'm like, I'm messed up right now.
Yeah,
I'm emotionally, I have a lot of things that I need to work through and heal before I feel like I can be there for anybody else. And
yeah.
he's like, I'm going to love you through it. And I feel like I was able to make the strides that I was able to make in the amount of time that I
Hmm.
had because of him and his patience and understanding
Hmm.
through it. He's the best man I've ever met.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
I feel so I didn't know it existed. I
Yeah.
thought when I was in my previous marriage, I was like, everybody's miserable. That's what they all say,
Ah,
you know?
okay,
And
yeah.
I just thought that's what people accepted. I didn't think that when people were, when I was at weddings as a photographer and people were like,
Uh-huh.
I'm marrying my best friend, I was like, please, this is so annoying. Like, why are you lying? And I feel that way
Yeah,
with him.
that's
So
so
now
cool.
I understand what they
Not
were
yeah.
saying. Okay, you guys weren't lying. I was just,
In the rut.
I
You're
was in a
in the rut
really
of it,
bad
you know.
situation and thinking that it was normal, but because, you know, yeah,
That's all you've
that's
experienced.
all I had experienced.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I know I've seen the other side or the end of the rainbow or whatever it is. I've,
You've walked through the light at the end of the
yes,
tunnel and you see the foresty
yes.
beautiness of
I have crossed
the
the
other
horizon to
side.
find you.
There we go. There we go. I love Moana.
Yeah.
That is from Moana.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, I hope I get that right.
Yeah, I did. It's like that's what it felt like, and it was yeah. So it's been great.
That's cool. Now, did he have kids?
No,
Okay.
luckily,
Okay.
because that would have complicated things.
Okay.
I would have had to been the
The
stepmother.
stepmother.
Gosh, no, he's just the stepfather
Sarah, the
though.
stepmother.
You're grounded.
That'd be the title of this YouTube video.
Yeah, I mean being a stepmother is not easy. Being a step parent isn't. I had
I'm
a
sure.
stepmom, I had a stepdad, and yeah, that's a whole, I don't think we have enough time to talk about that. But I didn't, I think I would have embraced it and it would have been fine as it is. But I think it kept things less complicated with
Yeah.
him not still being attached to his ex. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yep.
And in my sense, it's kind of there a sad ending to my story is my ex-husband got a brain injury in the middle of our divorce. He had an accident, and so he doesn't see the kids
Oh
and
gosh.
he can't take care of them, and We he still sees them when
Mm-hmm.
I take them to family events. He and I are amicable at this point, but it was really messy for a long time, and then the accident happened, and then it got even weirder, and so the at least there isn't a lot of complication there too. It's basically like Derek and I are their parents,
Mm-hmm.
and we're raising them, and he's been in their life for years,
Yeah.
and they the kids have gone through too much. They've gone through more than any child should at their age, and
Mm-hmm.
had to go through trauma and all that stuff, and I feel so terrible about that as their mother. But it has been a growing experience for all of us, and they're in a safe place now, and
Mm-hmm.
I as a parent, you're always just trying to do the best that you can do, and
I'm
you're like,
not a
I
parent,
make
but I'm agreeing
mistakes.
with you.
Yeah, I mean, but parents, you
I
were
do.
also a
Yeah.
child, so
Yeah.
when
I,
parents are
I I'm picking up what you're putting down.
yeah.
I'm getting you.
I feel
I'm
like you
tracking.
can relate to things. Do you have a pet? You don't have a dog? Hello?
Yeah.
Because you can kind of, when people with dogs, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm driving with you.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Besides, so you have elated light photography,
Yes.
you have
The
get
one
in loser.
Get and Loser podcast, which there are like 5 other Get and Loser podcasts. We weren't original at all, but we are going for it.
I feel like the personality makes it original.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know,
listen to the
it's
content.
yeah. So elated light, get in loser,
The Wander
the
Babes.
Wander Babes,
Yeah. Betty Good.
Betty Good. So we're dealing with 4 multiple personalities
Yeah.
here, people.
And there are
No.
more. No. Who are we today?
That
All
is
of
so
us.
fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm an artist. I'm an artist through and through. I just have things that I like to do. I
Hmm.
don't want to be limited to one thing. I know it's the jack of all trades, master of none. I don't care.
Do you feel like in today, this is so my personal thing is, if I have an idea and me doing something, if I know I'm passionate about it, my first instinct is to go, how do I make this a business? Do you fall under that category as well? Because I feel like
Yes.
you are.
I try think well, I'll do something for a little bit for the love of it, but
Mm.
it's always in the back of my mind
Like,
like eventually this is going to be a business.
yeah.
Like if we continue and we still like it at a certain point,
Yeah.
it's we're monetizing this maybe. It's
So does
going.
it help in that back of the mind thing in creating, like, if this eventually, like your podcast, right?
Hmm.
If you eventually turn that into a business model, as you're building it out, are you doing things that would be an easy transfer to a business brand, as far as like your logo, your title, your fonts, your colors?
Yes.
Like, is that
We branded
pre
before we launched.
pre yeah,
Yeah.
pre-position
Mhm.
is a marvelous thing, I feel like, with that entrepreneurial mindset, because you
Yeah.
always want to switch. Like, I'm doing this for fun, like, because I enjoy talking, I enjoy conversations with people and getting to know their life stories and what they do. But when I was building this out, that was my first thing, like, build this out as if it were to become an actual structured
So
business
you're
one
ready,
day.
you don't have to scramble.
Yeah, and that way you're not having to do like a rebrand,
Yeah.
if things do pick up, for instance. And so, yeah, I always love that. I was literally just having a conversation with a guy today. He is starting a pet food dehydration company
I love
for like
that.
pet treats.
Yeah.
Not for food, but for treats.
Yeah.
So he's big on like dehydrating
Yeah.
foods, and because it preserves, and I've tried some of it. It's like you can't even tell that this
Mhm.
stuff is just add a little bit of water, you're good to go.
Boom.
Um, but he texts me, he's like, hey, he's like, I have this business idea. He's like, I'm really gonna do something with it, and it's name whatever. But my mind immediately went to, is this just like something small that you're doing just to make like a side hustle, or are you wanting to really scale this thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, definitely scale it. He's like, if I can make a ton of money doing it, that'd be great. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
here's a checklist. Like, first, make sure the domain is available
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
for the name
First
of
and
your
foremost.
business,
Yeah.
and then you tell them the logo, the colors, the fonts, and all those things. But that's always where my mind goes,
Mm-hmm.
like just straight to business. Because I feel like, and you can voice this, I feel like when you're passionate about something, it's easier to turn it into a business
Mm-hmm.
than not to turn it to a business because of that fear of failure.
Yeah.
But like that passion just drives and really
It takes you to
motivates.
places you didn't even know you were capable of going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, where other people would have quit, or if you're not interested in something, you can quit something pretty easily.
Hmm.
With that passion, that gives you a drive like no other. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Hmm.
Is everything's a business at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's just fun.
I'm always talking to my friends like that when they're bringing stuff up like that. I'm like, you know what? You could be doing like if you could be selling this on here and making this amount. If like, what's the cost of your product? They're
Yeah.
like, whoa, whoa. I'm just doing
Yeah.
this for myself.
But it's so easy though once you know like the steps to make something a legitimate
Yeah.
LLC or a sole proprietorship or
Hmm.
whatever. It's so easy to just immediately start those steps again. Just
Yeah.
but I'm learning a lot of people don't have a ton of grace for that because it can be very overwhelming for them because they
Yeah.
don't know where to start.
Right.
But it's like it's not as hard as you think.
Especially now with all the tools and everything and like the rise of AI, even though it's
Hmm.
going to be our demise right now, it's a cool thing because it's helping us,
We're gonna. What's the movie with Will Smith? I Robot.
Yeah,
We're gonna face that one day,
it's coming.
hands down.
Yeah, that was a warning movie to
Yeah,
all of us.
yeah.
Like,
I think China just created a horse robot basically that just
awesome.
runs at crazy
It's
speeds
not
and
scary at all.
can have two people ride on its back, and it's just like this is insane.
Yeehaw.
This is right. Yeah. Time to stock up on some certain things that go pew pew. Just
Yeah.
saying.
And by the time we need to use them, they will have defenses that we
Right,
won't even be
yeah.
able to. They're like, haha.
We'll be in a Halo world at that point
Ugh.
where nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, is there shout out your plugs.
Shout out.
Tell
Shout it
tell
out.
tell everybody, and in case if you didn't know, your camera is the one all the way to the
Yeah,
So
well, I
just-
was looking at that center one most of the time, but nobody,
You
who's
can't
gonna
tell.
be, yeah,
Yeah, it's
like,
good.
and even if, who's even watching
Shout
this?
out all the
Okay,
things.
so shout out my music. You can find me on Instagram at Betty Good Wow, which is Betty BettyGoodWow. Is it not working? Is it not on?
No, it is.
And I do a lot of like inspirational stuff as well. I don't just do music on that one, but that's where I'll like be sharing the EP stuff once it's ready
The
to be
Betty
shared.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's on Instagram at Betty or sorry, Instagram. It's on Spotify. It's all on all listening platforms. You can listen to the first EP right now. And that's just Betty Good. And so Instagram is the Wander Babes, the .wander.babes.
Yes.
That's for travel content creation. That will be turning into a YouTube vlog experience soon.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, the Get In Loser podcast. If you're looking through the list, our brand is hot pink. We really leaned into the Mean Girls inspiration.
Okay.
So it has like burn book type of writing.
Get in loser.
Get In Loser. We're doing a podcast.
Okay.
And we're, that it fits our personalities because not like we're mean girls or anything,
Yeah.
but like we can be sassy, we could be
Yeah.
silly, we can be dumb. we can
Much like some men I know.
we can be all
This
those
guy,
things.
you know.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to have you on our podcast someday, but it's like digital, so
That's fine.
it's not as cool as this. I like this. I wish we lived in the same area
Yeah.
and we could be looking at each other because I feel like the conversation it has a different
It's just a
vibe.
different vibe.
Yeah.
It's that in-person capability, accountability to just like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I really like doing this too, because like when I did joyrides, that was me driving in my car, meeting people, going to get coffee, and I was talking, but there was still so much distractions because one, I'm driving.
Yeah.
So like I'm not trying to kill anybody or get in a car wreck. Yeah. And then the How to Entrepreneur podcast was all online. It's like
then you're really stuck.
then yeah, then you're
So
really stuck, and it's like I don't know if I want to
do
do
I always
this.
want to be
And
talking about entrepreneurship?
yeah,
Yes and no.
yeah, no, 100%. So then that's why, like I said before we started this thing, I was like, this works for me.
Yeah.
This is it.
Keeps it open
So
while you're discovering.
yeah,
Yeah. So the podcast is on Spotify and YouTube only. I
okay.
know you're supposed to be everywhere else. Deal with it. And
And
then
there's the sass.
yeah, and then Elated Light is it on Instagram at Elated Light or elatedlight.com. And you
And
could
that's like all the weddings
that's
and
yeah,
families and
photography.
photography
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
If you could handle this personality. I get on the dance floor if you want me to. No, I do it anyway. No, I love weddings. I love having fun with couples. I love being just like a part of the energy and
Mhm.
instead of I being so formal. I'm not like a super formal type wedding
Mhm.
photographer. I'm professional,
Right.
but I'm also we're spending all day together and I'm
Yeah.
still going to be myself and everything. My job is really to make you laugh naturally in
Yeah.
photos and then capture the romance and
Yep.
the candid moments. So that's yeah,
Yeah. That's fun. One last question. What do you do when you're not doing those four things?
mostly momming. Like
Oh, that's
I
true. Yeah.
also
All
I
right. That makes
homeschool.
sense.
So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I do homeschool with the kids and then
How long have you done that?
since my daughter's in kindergarten. So the beginning of days, that's been since 2020. Well, yeah,
Okay.
2020.
So 5 years.
Yeah, I'm doing everything at this point.
What's homeschooling? Because I'm always fascinated by parents who homeschool their kids. Because I mean I love the idea of it.
Mhm.
But every parent does it differently. Like I
Yeah.
know my sister will homeschool her four boys, and but she's very lenient. So like I think she doesn't have them get up. Could be different this year, but I'm pretty sure she has them get up at like 9:45, 10 a.m. and then they're done by like 2 p.m.
Hmm.
Then they have the rest of their day
There's a lot of
to do
flexibility.
whatever they want,
You
and
just get it done.
they get their full REM cycle in,
Boom.
and
There's flexibility there. We try something different every year while we're discovering what they like and what fits them as well.
mhm.
Like some years we've had a curriculum that we followed to the T that was a little too structured.
Okay.
Then the next year we did the opposite and we did unschooling and had like a child led thing and I was like I need a little more structure. And so then last year and this year has kind of been a blend of the two, and
Okay.
we really I think we found the sweet spot a little bit. So the only thing is they want to do more activity type things, and
Mhm.
most of the activity things happen in the times where the schooling kids are out of school, where it's like it would be nice if I could use the daytime to do activities for them.
Yeah.
But and there are some catered homeschool things that you can get them involved in. They're both in dance. We're starting soccer this
Okay.
weekend, and they're doing 4-H. So there is a lot of opportunity, and we're expanding a lot more, especially as they get older. They want to be
Yeah.
around their peers,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, if you went to public school, it's not like social hour the whole time. You're doing school. You're just sitting next to people who are
For
your age.
8 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
8.
You don't even know what the kind of like, and we can travel with them and do whatever we want. It's
Yeah.
so nice. So
Very
I
flexible.
do that, and then I also have I do copywriting and copy editing for startups.com.
You've been doing that for a while.
Yeah,
How long you been doing that for?
I got
I
that
remember
job.
us talking about that.
Yeah, it was like 2020, February 2020. I got the job, and then March everything shut down. But we were work from home,
Okay.
so I think when I met you, I had just got that
Okay.
I just got signed on because I was part time at first, and then they offered me a full time position, and that was right when I met you.
And that was, what do you do? Copywriting
And
and
copy editing.
copy editing.
Yeah, I'm
What do you
finalized on everything.
what do you copyright? What do you copy edit?
Like articles, entrepreneurial founders, because startups.com is they help startups launch. So anything that
Okay.
you need, like a business plan, guidance, anything that you would need to run a startup and do a startup, they
That's right.
provide.
Okay.
So I just their newsletters that they do.
So does that incorporate to like their whole layout of like what would be on their website
Mhm.
and starting up. So
Yeah.
it's so that's what I'm asking, like copywriting,
Yes.
copy editing. That's what that is. It's the language
Yeah, copy is
development
what is
of.
written, and copywriting is you writing it. Copy editing is somebody gives you copy, and you
Okay.
edit it. You make sure that it like grammatically correct everything. But then I also will rearrange things. I'll write things in there to make it like sound the best, be the
Okay.
punchiest, like, and make sure that the
It
most
matches
efficient
their
message is going out,
yeah.
matches their voice and everything.
Okay.
And at this point, I've been doing it so long that I could I could write ghost write for them if
Mm,
they wanted me to, but I don't have the time for that.
yeah.
If they wanted to pay me for it, though, I
Hey,
think we could talk about it.
get us some fat stacks of checks over
Yeah.
here. That's what I'm
No,
talking
I think
about.
I'm in a good place because I'm doing that. I'm more contract work for them now. I was full time for them doing a
Okay.
different job, but things have shifted, and now I'm just doing contract work, and that works for me
Okay.
in my life. And I want to focus more on other things that I can do too.
Mm,
And it was just like I can't do that full time job, and I was doing photography full time too, and I was burning out trying to
mm-hmm.
also homeschool and
Yeah.
take care of the house and everything because I'm a trad wife. I love my trad wife life, but I'm not technically trad because I also am an entrepreneur. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do it all. We'll
It's
see
that
how long
healthy
I can.
balance, you know? Yeah.
I'm cooking every night, working on work. Oh yeah, it's just I don't know. I've always been that way though. I
Yeah.
like doing a lot. As
Staying busy,
mhm.
productive. Well, being efficient too. Like you're an efficient person,
Yeah.
you know? So that's a part. I feel like people grow into that efficiency. Otherwise, it's just pure chaos. Like I know I've experienced it. It's like I can't do this anymore.
Mm.
Like with like I learned when I first started in weddings, like it would take me forever to finish a wedding video.
Oh,
Like forever because I'd nitpick, I'd get all these
right.
things. Well, then I realized I'm a visual organizer. Are you
Hmm.
familiar with that?
No.
So my friend Sarah Bean, who runs she owns Altogether Lovely Home Staging and Redesign. She's very popular.
Cool.
She's freaking killing it. Um she had come over when I first was like designing my office area. I had asked her to come over and kind of help with the layout and figure things out. And she walked in and she looked around and she goes, "You're a visual organizer, aren't you?" I go, "I don't know what that means." She goes, "You're very neat, but you like to see everything." She's like, "For me, I'm a closed organizer. So like cables, anything junk drawer related, she'll put in a drawer, she'll put in her cupboards, close the doors and not think anything of it. She walks into my office, she sees cables wrapped, she sees everything organized on shelving, not one
Okay.
uh uh drawer of things because it's all organized and out and about.
Okay.
And she was like, I was like, I am a visual organizer. So to say all that with like editing, and when I hit like my busy season, I created a chart that has the dates, the contacts, the clients, the
Mm.
due date, the work I've done need to get completed, were these files sent out, was this job paid, how much do they owe, the
Yeah.
deposit, like it's all just and it soothes my soul.
Oh,
Like it's
good.
such a
Yes.
soothing thing. Other people might walk in there and go, "Oh my god, what is all of this?" And it's like, I'm a visual organizer. Like this is just how I
Good.
operate, you
Yeah,
know.
you found what
But
you needed.
back to that efficiency part. Like
Hmm.
that, like I never knew I needed that until I started just naturally inclining to be like, I need a system.
Hmm.
And then later on it was like, oh, you're a visual organizer. But that helped me become more efficient in what I do.
Awesome.
So
That one time having her over changed your life.
yeah. And it worked out great ever since.
Yeah,
She's cool.
that is cool. Yeah.
But there's four types of organizers. There's
Close.
visual, internal, uh
You said closed, right?
closed, yep. Oh, what was the last one? Maybe the other one was like scattered organizer or something where everything is
Ew.
just all over the place, but
No.
you know where
Yeah,
everything's at.
organized chaos.
Yeah.
I can't do
Yep.
that. I start feeling like I think I'm probably more closed organized
Okay.
because
Where things are like hidden.
yeah,
Okay, like
I
in
know where
drawers
they
and
are, but they're like, you know,
it's like
not
hiding the
seen.
VCR cables and all the
Hmm.
stuff you would need for a
Yeah,
TV and
if it feels like there's too much clutter, I start to get like anxious. Like
okay.
I can't focus until it's clean.
Okay.
So that's what like having a bunch of. I mean, but I like displays like this. I like.
Listen,
Yeah.
this is not my first try.
Yeah.
This is my third try. When I first did this, like I had everything I could find in my apartment just plastered on this
Mm,
wall. And because my thought was, "Oh, let's have a really messy background. A messy background
yeah.
would be cool." And then I sat on it for
It's
a
giving
day.
pawn shop.
Yep, yeah, exactly. And I came back out the next day and I looked at it and I said, "Nope. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's anxiety right there for a lot of people." And
It,
then eventually it led to this
yeah.
because I was like, man, some people have like a really big painting on their wall. And so, yeah,
Yeah. I like it.
it works. It's clean.
It does
And I
work.
had everything already. So, like, I
Yeah.
think max it's probably 150 bucks invested, 200 bucks,
Boom. Done.
just for like the paint and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it works.
It works.
It was good. It was good. Well, this has been super fun.
It has
And
been.
it's been fun catching up with you and
Yeah.
hearing all the good and great things you're doing. And yeah, this has been great. And I appreciate you taking time out of your very crazy, busy, hectic, entrepreneurial, momhood,
Yep.
now married wife life
Say
to
it. You
come
better
and talk to
preach.
me for a little bit. So
Yeah.
and I think we only dropped 3 cuss words, so that's pretty good.
Hey.
Not gonna lie. But yeah, this has been great. And once again, elatedlight.com for weddings and family and portraits. Get In Losers podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Wonder
The
Babes.
Wander
The
Babes.
Wander
The dot
Babes.
wander dot babes.
The
You'll get it.
You'll get it. You'll find her. Sarah
Humphreys.
Humphreys. Sarah Humphreys. And then yeah, subscribe to Bears Don't
Yeah.
Fly. YouTube, Spotify,
Bears don't
Instagram,
fly, baby.
TikTok, Facebook, all the platforms. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
That was good.